What's up, friends? This is Manni, and lots of uproar in the starcitizen community about the new RSI Meteor, an announcement for a new ship that is coming in the 4.2.1 life update, or it should become flyable then, and it is going to be like a heavy fighter weapons platform disguised as a medium fighter. Let me explain, because the ship is built on the chassis of the Mantis, and it brings an incredible amount of firepower with two size 5 bespoke ballistic cannons that can be pro and disadvantage at the same time. More about this later. In the end of this video, I'm gonna give you my conclusion to the whole thing, okay? First, let's list some facts. And it also brings 4 size 3s at the same time, which is the same firepower as a Saber, for instance, brings. That is a freaking load of firepower. That is what we consider a good firepower medium fighter. But on top of that, 2 size 5 ballistic cannons. In terms of size and defenses, that is, I believe, where the weakness of the Meteor will come in. It will have roughly the shape of the Mantis, although it might have a few more bulkier aspects to it. For example, on the bottom, where there's going to be size 4 missile racks, right? That's also pretty crazy. Size 4. The other fighters don't have that, most of them anyways. And yeah, so it might have a bit of a more bulkier appearance than the Mantis, but it follows roughly the shape and design of the Mantis. And it will have an interior, a do not worry about anything interior, because you got a bed, you got a fridge. You can drink, you can cool your beer. I don't know about the fridge, but I'm assuming there's gonna be something like this. And you have a weapons rack, you have some internal space to walk, you can bedlock, and basically you can be happy with everything you've got inside. Unlike the F8C or the Guardian MX, which both do not have a bed. The Guardian has an interior but no bed, and the F8C does not have an interior at all, but yet they still both are in a similar ballpark when it comes to the size and how easy or hard they're going to be hit as a target. Now, the defenses part is where CIG themselves says this thing is not going to be as powerful, right? It will probably not feature 2 size 2 shields like the heavy fighters that you see around it. It may have less shielding, but we don't really know the numbers just yet. And also, we are subject to CIG's balancing decisions if you are interested in getting the Meteor, because 2 size 5 bespoke cannons means they could be great or they could be bad. They probably have a really slow projectile traveling speed, and I would imagine you do not want to get caught in a dogfight against F7A or against a skilled Gladius pilot. I think they're going to wipe the floor with you, because you're never going to hit them, at least not with the size 5s. That might be where your quad size 3s are coming in to defend yourself, but it is classified as a medium fighter. Does it have the mobility to fight them actively? We don't really know. We're gonna soon know, and that's when you're gonna get, as soon as the ship arrives, a full review of the RSI Meteor here on the channel. So if you like that, stay tuned. I am this type of perfectionist who really needs to go into detail about every little aspect of everything. So if you like that style, please stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you guys around. I'm just starting out with this channel here, taking it super serious and trying to be the first with the news. Not this time though. I had a few days something to do, but yeah, let's have a look at the RSI behind the ships, the RSI Meteor, okay? So, let CIG do the talking, and then we're gonna go to the conclusion afterwards. Alright, there it is, the Meteor, it's coming.
The Meteor is, it's called a medium fighter you can spend your time on, you can live on it. It's got everything you'd need to live out.
So you can live on it, you have a bed.
In space.
Will it have cargo too? That is something,
you heard
I don't know.
taking the Mantis chassis and making a new fighter.
Mantis is a wonderful ship. I just like fighters more.
I was excited because the Mantis is quite a well-known ship.
We want to give justice to the Mantis, but we also want to make it more aggressive, more sleek, and I think we got to it.
Oh yeah, you most certainly did, and it has a lot of similarities.
First thing that you're going
Polaris.
to notice on this bad boy is the 2 bespoke size 5 ballistic cannons that we ended up adding.
Jeez, look at this.
Massive guns.
Yep.
Who doesn't like massive guns?
If you've never used a cannon before, they'll be very low rate of fire, but the amount of damage that you're going to do when you hit is absolutely insane.
Another thing, if we just look back at here, you see these weapons here? Kronek. Chronic. What type of guns are those? Because it only speaks about the 2 size 5 being bespoke, but I don't recognize these weapons. Maybe it's a really untypical weapon that I have never used in the game, but I feel like I would even recognize the most unusual or rarest used weapon in the game. This, I don't know. Which weapon would that be? It should be one of the size 3s. I'm not sure. Can you help me out with that one? If you know which one that is, let me know.
If you've never used a cannon before, they'll be very low rate of fire, but the amount of damage that you're gonna do when you hit is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Meteors are going bam, 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 bam. Gatling is just Cannons are bam, 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 bam.
Bam, bam. Oh, and it seems to fire like a double shot, similar to the Vanduul Scythe that has one time the Wrath Cannon size 5 and one time the War Cannon size 5. And I believe the War Cannon is the one that only the Scythe has that fires 2 shots in a row. And it's reminds me a little about this. I think this bespoke cannon also fires a double shot. And it does not seem to carry too much ammo if you take a look at the top left, by the way.
Devastating in the hands of a skilled pilot.
As you come around, you can see the similarities between the Polaris and the Meteor. It's like you took
Yeah.
the Mantis exterior and then asked the person who made the Polaris exterior to find a middle ground.
Wait, did we
The person
see?
who made the Polaris exterior.
Oh, so we're seeing the Mantis sitting right next to the RSI Meteor here, right? Because these ones do not have the size 5s. So we can literally see the exact difference between the 2 ships and their chassis. And that basically addresses one of the points I had still left, where I say, how much bigger is this ship going to be? Is it going to be the same size? And I believe it's going to be like that. If we take a look at this, I mean, it might fan out a little more with the guns, and on the belly it will have more space because of the missile racks. But other than that, it looks like it has roughly the same shape. And the Mantis is by no means a small fighter, right? But if you compare it to the heavy fighters, which we can, in terms of weapon damage outputs, easily do, then it is probably more like a smaller one of
to
those.
find a middle ground.
More mobile. Also nice skin, by the
When I
way.
was working
Wow.
on this, I took like a lot of inspiration from the Polaris. I worked
Bro,
on
you
the
need a better
exterior
green
of that
screen.
ship for a long time, so I think it's absolutely ingrained in my mind.
Green screen
Although
setup.
the RSI style of what was back then and what it is now is different, and so there was like this balance that I had to hit.
Yeah. I would love to
Underneath,
design
we
ships, by the
have
way.
a size 4 hardpoint that can fit
Size
on
4.
size 4 rack, single S4 missiles.
And you're free to change them.
You can swap those down.
And this looks
to
like-
2 size 3s, 4 size 2s, or 8 size 1s.
Whoa. And we're not talking about one. So 8 size 1, 8, 16, 32, right? 4 times those hard points. That is crazy. How many size 4s are there per?
You can swap
2?
those down to
Oh no,
2 size.
okay. 1 size 4 each. 1 size 4. Or it could be 8 size 1s per 1 size 4. Okay, gotcha. Also, did you see that? The bottom belly here, that part. It looks like something could be stored here. I mean, this could also be where the access to the ship is, obviously, but it kind of looks like maybe it is possible to attach an SCU of cargo here somewhere. Just thinking loud would be cool, because the
Those down
interior
to 2 size 3s,
probably does not allow
4
it.
size 2s, or 8 size 1s.
Yeah.
The way the hatches open at the bottom and that whole new like lower section, it kind of like fattens it up a bit, and it just
Yeah,
looks
it
a little bit more aggressive, which
makes
to
it
me
bigger.
is never a bad thing.
Oh.
Interior,
so-
as soon as you end up going up the ramp, that's had a nice little lighting effect added for it.
All right,
You'll
so-
go
okay,
in
okay.
and see that the inside has been completely remodeled.
All right, so there at the back of there is the entrance. So this is not where you could store something, but still it looks like underneath some room, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just part of the
from
sleek
old
design.
Mantis interior.
But it also looks like you could easily put at least a 1 SCU box on that elevator and fiddle it up in here and put it anywhere, you know? Pretty sure it's gonna have some room. Also, you see here to the left, there's a bed. To the right, maybe that's like the kitchen area, we'll see.
The Zeus did so much for bringing that interior design language
Yeah,
to RSI
the
forward.
blue, right?
Thank you,
Blue-gray.
Montreal team.
Looks so much alike,
It's a
like
lot
the
sleeker
Zeus.
now. There's these really clear blue lines that run through the core of the ship.
Also, personal storage under the bed. Did you see it here? Here, personal storage also exists on the ship.
It's a lot sleeker now. There's these really clear blue lines that run through the core of the ship.
Looks
They go up
fantastic.
the walls onto the ceiling.
You know, we're always looking for daily drivers, right? We always do it, like naturally so. We want to have a ship that we purchased or obtained, whether it be on the RSI Pledge Store or in-game. We're always looking for the greater gain, for the lasting bonus or benefit to it. And if this is a ship that offers a medium-sized kind of niche to occupy it, yet at the same time allowing you to bedlock and have some sort of daily driver operation going with that, and yet still fit inside your Liberator in the future or inside your Polaris, fitting inside the Idris, obviously, no problem, right? So that makes it just insanely amazing. The combination of things that you can create with that is amazing, and everybody loves daily drivers, and this looks like to me it could be one. We're speaking about the price at the end of this video too.
They've framed the parts of your room. You've got nice floor mats as well. It just feels more cohesive. So the cockpit is all framing your eye towards that massive glass canopy that you're familiar with on the Mantis.
Great visibility.
We've taken the Zoo seat to another level, improving the back-end workflow of how we use it, which is going to improve all RSI ships going forward.
Turning around from the seat, you can catch
Don't
really
hit your
quick
head.
that we do have a button.
Oh.
And when you press that, you will have a weapon rack that's coming out.
Oh,
There's a
nice.
scene in John Wick where he hits the floor with a sledgehammer to reveal all of his guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, we can't do that, but we could make kind of a secret button on the bulkhead that pops out the floor.
So now we know what's
So
on the
every
bottom.
ship I work on, I make sure to put some kind of inspection sticker on that lists the designers and artists that worked on it.
Nah.
For this ship, we've added
Signature.
someone else.
Someone else?
Yeah, okay, let me read you that.
No, I'll be someone else.
The paints on this
Who's
one
that?
are fun to do.
Seal number,
Wanted to
okay.
kind of get that iridescence going, and yeah, I feel like we covered a wide spectrum of tastes.
Honestly, these shots, right? This is just something that Star Citizen does so amazingly well. And I get all the arguments about the power creep, which I'm also going to talk about in just a moment, but just that kind of shot, that's the beauty of Star Citizen. Only Star Citizen does that, like that. And, man, feels good.
The default
Look
we
it.
ended up changing out for our darker paint tone. This way you'll be a little bit stealthier. I think it looks really cool. We have our red
That one is my favorite
our
here.
gold one, teal
Eh.
one, and then probably my personal favorite, our disco livery.
Oh, that's not bad either. Yeah,
We're
some
trying
blue
to
and red.
Bring the ship to a new level. Whilst
Did he
also
say disco?
paying homage to what it was, and it was a really unique challenge that I really appreciated getting the chance to work on.
When I see this, I always ask myself, how do they do these shots where in the middle of flying, the skin changes, yet nothing around it changes, like a seamless transition? Do they record the same flight 100 times with different skins and every time cut it like in the same? I don't understand quite how they do this, but it impresses me every time. Just like, as a content creator, you ask yourself something like this. Sorry, off topic.
It's not for me. It might be for people like me. Who's the ship for?
For people who likes to look cool and play cool.
For people who want to have a daily flyer that packs
Yes.
a huge punch.
Daily flyer. Yep, indeed.
This should be for me. That's it.
It's for your militaristic fighter that just wants that ship they're never going to stop driving.
Yeah, RSI doesn't cover that so much yet,
Who's
right?
the ship for?
John Wick.
John Wick. Of course. Look at him. There he is. Nice. Yeah, cool. I like that. Make an impact in Alpha 4.2.1. All right, so let's talk about these remaining points. Power creep, something that is causing quite some concerns in the community, and rightfully so. Like I said, we're packing the firepower of ultra-heavy fighters, or even more than that, into a medium fighter, right? Take a look at the, let's imagine an F7, which is already at the highest end spectrum of firepower. Remember, I've told you guys many times the F7A actually has more firepower. Let's add it to the list. Actually has more firepower in terms of burst unload, like the burst damage output, or the alpha, if you will, more than any of the other ships you see here on screen right now, because you have 2 size 4s on the wings and 4 size 3s with double on the turret up here and double on the nose, right? So that that brings more alpha or burst damage output than even the F8 with 8 weapons, because 4 size 4s, 4 size 3s, less firepower, and also more firepower than the 4 size 4s of the Guardian MX, because 4 size 3s compared to the remaining here are higher, right, than 2 size 4s. So yeah, you have an insane alpha, and you have already the mobility of a medium fighter. Now, in terms of shielding and defenses, I could imagine that the Mantis will get something similar to the F7A, which would be 2 size 1 shields. Then again, though, the Mantis is a ship with an interior design. It is a new ship, and as a new ship, the power creep argument typically ends up being somewhat right. So CIG is probably going to try and make as many sales as they can, and in that light, I would assume they're going to make even its weaker side, the survivability, being a little better than, for example, of an F7A. I could imagine that maybe it will have 3 size 1 shields, but I do not know the components. Maybe it's even going to get a 1 size 2 shield, which would place it between the F8C and the regular Guardian. The regular Guardian, not the MX, the regular Guardian has a 1 size 2 shield, or similar to the Banu Defender, right? Another ship that is not very popular at all, and I understand why. I love that ship, but unfortunately, CIG is doing very little to make this ship attractive in any way. I feel like these wings on the side have literally 1 HP. As soon as your shield fails and you get two hits here, they get red, another hit, boom, falls off, ship is useless because it cannot be controlled. And it's so big, somehow it gets hit by everything, even though it's a medium fighter technically, and should be mobile. Is it designated as a light fighter? No, I think medium. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Mantis ended up getting a size 2 shield, which would give it more survivability or more raw shield power than the F7A, although a single shield is always a bit of a disadvantage compared to multiple smaller shields in some other ways, right? But I guess we're gonna have to see. But one thing is clear, the firepower is way, way higher than any of the ships on screen. The question is, though, can you even hit anything with it, right? If this is a ship that is basically oriented towards PvE, because the projectile cannon speed is so slow, you're never gonna hit any of the fighters here on screen, then, you know, the argument of power creep isn't really there anymore. Then it would be a wonderful daily driver for a single solo player who doesn't want to engage in PvP combat, but rather do solo mission running by himself or with friends, but not really fighting other players. And in that part, I could definitely live with this ship having more firepower than it needs to, if you could not really bring the firepower into a PvP battle anyways. But we're gonna have to see how fast those cannons are. My estimate would be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 meters per second, right? Definitely not fast, but not the slowest either. I don't think they're going down to 900 meters per second projectile cannon speed here. I think that would end up being a bit too slow for a medium fighter. It would be a little bit of an odd combination to have an agile medium fighter with such ultra slow projectiles. And remember, again, they want to sell these ships. So if they end up being looked at as useless for a large part of PvP engagements, people will absolutely refuse to buy it, at least as if they're somewhat interested in PvP, that is. Yeah, so now let's talk about the price, which is the last point on the list. I think the ship price will be placed somewhere between $250 and $280. That is my guess, simply because the last things we've seen, they were a little over the price point that I would have always suggested or anticipated. The Asgard was one of the craziest. Like, this thing was almost... like, it was so high above the price I would have given it for its performance. But then again, dropships are always somehow mad expensive. What's it called here? the new one, the Prowler, is not talking about the utility. The regular Prowler, incredibly overpriced for its performance currently in the game, because the dropships really don't serve much purpose at this very moment. Same as the Valkyrie, absolutely insane pricing for what you get, and the Asgard was the same. Now we are seeing some other prices on normal medium fighters, but I would assume, given the multi-purpose role that the ship seems to have, the fact that it has an interior, the fact that it's new, you know, and also offering something that is outside the box, something unique that is so important and attractive, like raw firepower, I think it will be at between 250 and 280. It's my guess. Feel free to let me know what you think about this. Other than that, if I forgot something, please mention it to me, because I always use the pinned comment under my videos to update a video, right? I can't edit something back into a finished video, but I can use the pinned comment in case I said something wrong or got something wrong, or I made a mistake, or something new comes along, a new piece of information, like certain detailed numbers that we now know. I'll update it with the pinned comment. So have a look, and please, if you like the video, consider staying tuned, subscribe, and be there for the next. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, as our last sentence in terms of my concern towards power creep, if it turns out to be a useless ship for PvP because the cannons are too slow, I'm not too worried. But if somehow these cannons can hit moving targets relatively well and accurately, and punching harder than the heavy fighters, yet having the mobility of a medium fighter, and perhaps even the survivability of a defender or the regular guardian with a regular size 2 shield, then I feel like we're being right there in the ballpark of being rightfully worried about the power creep. I'm hoping they're not going to go too far on making these size 5s hit smaller craft. That really is what it depends on, in my opinion. We'll see. Also, ammo capacity is a big factor. If you can't even make a bunch of missions because you always end up running out of ammo, big problem. Although even then you still have 4 size 3s, right? So kind of a, You could, for example, combine the size 3s and put 4 attrition size 3s on, which has 1,000 meters per second projectiles, energy projectile speed. They hit so hard they can drop shields near instantly, and then you can add the size 5 guns to it, and with 1,000 or something like this meters per second, having similar projectile speed, you can just combine that extremely well and make a very wholesome setup. But yeah, we'll have to see the numbers to really make the final decision here, and I'll keep you updated as soon as I get the numbers, okay? So see you around in the next video. Manni signing off, and goodbye, my friends.